singing you a love song. 'Cause you are the greatest of them all. Mama, way, I'm giving you all honor. No one else can compare to you. Oh, you've been through it all, yet you haven't lost all your strength. So I wait, mama, I wait, mama, I wait, mama. See, I could go back. I wait, mama, mama, I wait, mama, I wait, mama. See, I could be getting mama, where we celebrate our freedom around the world. People sing your praise. Give all thanks to the Father in heaven. Here's the key, our ability. Oh, you've been through it all, yet you haven't lost all your strength. I wait, mama, I wait, mama, I wait, mama. See, I
That is our favorite intro tune. Very, very welcome. My friend Ridwan Samudin is on the line from Cape Town. I will introduce him in a second. My name is Theophilus van Rensburg Linster, and I'm not saying that because I don't know who I am. I just want to be sure that you know who I am, who the host is. And I'm coming to you live from Stockholm in Sweden. We are just like 1 hour behind South Africa. Not much. Soon we'll change the clocks back again and we'll be on the same time zone, so to speak. Ridwan, are you with us?
Theo, I am here.
I know you're there.
And after that grand introduction, I am read one. I read one book at a time.
Yes, and I think that's your heritage and that's your legacy. You have always advocated for reading. I have always been thankful for that.
Absolutely.
I've been mostly thankful because that advocacy has reminded me so much about the gratitude and thankfulness that I am supposed to have and should have to those first teachers that I met in a formal public school who really supported just those basic things. Helped me to read, helped me to write. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. And your advocacy in that space has always reminded me into that loop. So, thank you very, very much for that.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. For those of you who have joined us or are joining us, very, very welcome. As I said, my name is Theophilus van Rensburg Linster. I host this particular broadcast once a week from Stockholm, sometimes on a Thursday evening and sometimes on a Saturday afternoon. The best thing to do if you want to find out exactly when that is to follow us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And later during the show, I'll give a little bit more of that. For those of you who are returning, thank you very, very much for being here. You would have noticed that, and I'm just switching the camera now to show what it's looking like just outside of Stockholm. And so that's a street view. For the first time, we have set up this street view camera. Sven, you in Spain at the moment, and I'm not so sure if you're tuning in, but there you are. I just thought today I wanted to remind you where you have to come back to. Sven, by the way, is Sven Isaksson, and he's a really very special guy, Ridwan. We all have special people in our lives. Sven Isaksson is that individual. In fact, Sven is responsible for why we are sitting in this particular space. This is a spot in what you can call downtown Stockholm. It's so central, and he's dedicated this space to us for use for two major reasons. Number one, advocate for the vocational training in agriculture that we are doing in South Africa. Advocate for it, raise funds for it, raise awareness for it. And secondly, advocate for a better treatment of animals in their aspirations of knowledge and skills acquisitions in agriculture. So a special focus on the treatment of
Mm.
animals. Now, animal, of course, livestock farming is part of agriculture, and we actually teach animal production as part of the programs that we provide in rural South Africa. And so Sven particularly has a love for animals. He has a love for horses in particular. And so he's opened his door, he's opened his heart for this. So, like you, Ridwan, he's someone with a heart that precedes
Mhm.
anything else that he does. I'm sure one day when you meet him, I know you don't like flying. I know this, but maybe one day your paths will.
Wasn't he at our one of? Wasn't he at the Wise Up conference?
No, he
But this
wasn't.
somehow
No,
seems
no.
some. Oh, okay.
There've been a good number of Swedes at our Wise Up summits. You're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and at one of these episodes, you and I need to talk about that because there's an idea milling around in my head. This is 2024.
Sure.
It's
Mm-hmm.
exactly 10 years, Ridwan, after our first
Mm-hmm.
major Wise Up in Bloemfontein. So there's something that's cooking in my skull in relation to that. But
Mm.
more about
I know
that.
there's always something cooking there.
Yes,
Always good stuff cooking there.
I know, I know. Um, so another sort of fact I just want to mention here is that the music that we always play here in the background is the music of Andre de Lang, and Andre de Lang is very close to our hearts. So Andre de Lang, myself, and Sven
Mm-hmm.
Isaacson, we, for a want of a better expression, run this operation. I do the running, and and they chase me. And so
That's a good.
Andre's music is what you heard at the introduction. And so tonight, when there's
Mm-hmm.
music that you will hear, this will be of Andre de Lang. He's a South African born that lives in Sweden and has been here for a very, very long time. He is much more than a musician, much more than a songwriter, and much more than a brilliant advocate for that which is meaningful and purposeful in his life. And I'm sure him and Sven will be an enormous acquisition to your friendship circle, because there's one thing I know about you. You love a circle of friends, but you've always kept a door open for that circle to become bigger.
Absolutely.
And so I've appreciated that of yours. One of the things that we definitely do on the show is we talk about raising support for what we do. So right now on the screen we have there what we call a little donate button. And so while we play Andre's music in the background, and Ridwan, I think you will recognize this tune. He wrote this piece
Okay.
and he called it Destem Revisited. Just listen in and tell me what you think afterwards.
Champions, brave and fearless ones, you are. You're the treasure of our nation. Symbolize our rising star. You're the keepers of our genius. You're the symbols of our pride, representing all our greatness. By your power, you turn the tide. Oh, yeah. Celebrate your gift. Oh, we inspire you, inspire, making great opponents, make them fall. You are witness to
That's incredible, isn't it? You know, sometimes I'm tempted to want to try and say something, you know, while the song's playing, but I feel it would be
Mhm.
such an injustice. What went through your mind when you heard that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I have a local DJ is by the name of Clarence, and he always speaks about you must let the music imbibe you. And I always
Mm,
wondered, what does it mean with imbibing? But
mm,
I can actually relate to that now. That song touches you deeply.
mm,
And one of my all-time favorites, Mr. Stephen Morrison, the
mm,
wonderful man. Somehow that song conjures up some of the little notes and music that I've heard from Mr. Stevie Wonderful. So yeah,
mm.
it resonates beautifully with me. Yeah.
That's
Mm.
incredible. Yeah, you know, you're not the only one that says that. A good number of folks that have listened to that, and of course, it is quite a adaptation of that national anthem that we all grew up with.
Mm.
And
Mm.
but Andre's injection of that brilliant choral arrangements, his
Mm-hmm.
distinctive voice, and his pulsating heart explains just how, you know, how brilliant things can
Mm.
be if we are seriously thinking about sharing our heart through our art, so to speak. Now,
Mm. Yeah.
you know,
I just love that. I must
you
quote you
know,
on that one.
you know what? I actually, I just thought about that heart through our art. I don't want to. At least this thing is recorded,
Mm.
so we can we can get back to
Yeah.
it. If you've just tuned
Y-
in here on this particular space, the man's face that you see broadcast now on YouTube and all the other channels is none other than Ridwan Samudin. Ridwan is an old friend of mine, and I don't mean old in the sense that he's 90 or over 90. He could easily have been, he could easily have been, if you look at him, an early 30-year-old, and he's not changed. The picture you see up there is of a young, enduringly young Ridwan. Ridwan, we'll come back to talk a little bit more about your particular
Mm-hmm.
escapades and what you are busy with at the moment. I want to just turn our attention to a little bit of an update. So, one of the things we want to do is provide news.
Mm.
News about what? Well, news about three individuals, and they are on your screen right now. They just left this afternoon for Spain. Spain, you might say. Why would you want to go
Mm.
to Spain? Well, you would want to go to Spain if you are one of the teachers who are in what is called the Seed for Africa program. Now, let me just back up a little bit and explain what that is. Ridwan Learning Academy Worldwide, this organization that has really been, you know, my heartbeat. About a year and a half
Mm-hmm.
ago, we won this grant together with two other African countries for elevating or improving the profile of teachers within vocational training in agriculture. And that grant meant
Mm-hmm.
that our teachers could do on the job training with a European partner. And one of those opportunities happens right now. In fact, they are flying right now as we speak north from Cape Town on their
Mm.
way to Spain.
Wow.
It's Tarita Polakuti,
Mm.
Iona Beekes, and Leon October. Now, I'm not so sure if you've met
Mm.
any one of them, um, uh,
Mm-hmm.
but they
Yeah.
they are very instrumental in supporting and strengthening our young people's knowledge acquisition and skills development within vocational training in agriculture. And so they left on a plane this afternoon, and I don't know when they'll be back again. No, I do know when they'll be back again. But you know me, Ruduan. I always try to catch them early on and ask them to give some reflections. So this morning before they left, I did a lot of preparation with them. But before they left, I said, "Could you tell us what it is that you are expecting from this trip?" And so, what we will hear, if I can get the technology right here today, is a little bit of their thoughts in the background. I'll just mute you for a second there, but you will be able to hear as well, Ridwan. That's Sarita starting off.
I would firstly just like to say thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm hoping to learn a lot from this experience and bring back all of that information and knowledge for the upliftment of some of our local George learners and bring them a better life and hopefully equip them with a better future.
Hi Theo and hi to everyone who is listening. Please excuse the noise you hear. We find ourselves on our flight right now. We've just boarded. And for me, this trip, I hope that what I learn during this time can be shared extensively for the enrichment of young lives here in South Africa. The goal is to come back armed with information so that the young people, the young adults of our own country can be enriched.
My expectations and hopes of the training and visit in Spain are as follows. I hope that I will come back empowered and equipped with a lot of new learnings that I can apply to the students, to the young people in South Africa, and that we can take our farming practices and technology a step further to become sustainable and viable young people in South Africa. Thank you.
That's precious, right, everyone, hearing that those expectations. Ridwan, are you there? Yeah, I was just thinking those are quite precious reflections, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah.
Just a second for me, Ridwan. It seems like I have managed to kick you out of the Bluetooth. Now that's not a smart move. Hold on for me 1 second. Let me get this right. Where's my friend's Bluetooth? I know where my Bluetooth is, but I don't know where Ridwan's is. There he is. Let's see. Can you say something, Ridwan? I can't hear you. Oh, there we go. Let me quickly call you back, my friend. We are struggling a little bit to get a hold of Ridwan. I'm just going to give him a call back so we can fix the technology here. This does happen, and when it happens, it happens. And so we've just listened to our friends reflecting over their trip to Spain. As I mentioned, they are part of a team of teachers who, first and foremost, have spent good time with young people in Cape Town, in George, in Harlem, and in Concordia. These are 4 towns and cities in the Western and Northern Cape province of South Africa. And what's transpired is that they have so diligently applied themselves as they had worked toward enriching young people's opportunities to learn, opportunities to grow, and opportunities to become more employable. And part of their trip now to Spain is to meet other vocational training in agriculture teachers in order to sort of do a little bit of job shadowing, learn from others. And what they shared in their expectations were quite encouraging as they were endeavoring to bring back or plow back or learn and then share back, strengthen those who they would be serving eventually on their return. So those are very, very commendable approaches, and we of course very, very thankful for that. I'm also joined in this particular broadcast by a friend of mine down in Cape Town, and I'm going to try again to get him on the line to see if it works. It's not working. So, yeah, Ridwan, it doesn't seem if I can get you up here. It seems like I can only get you on the speaker today. But I can hear you all right, but I got you on a speaker instead. So, were you able to hear their reflections there, Ridwan?
No, sadly not. Sadly not.
Okay.
Because I think somehow I lost it.
Yeah.
At that time.
Sorry about that. I think that
All good.
one of the beautiful things about their reflections were that they were very excited about the trip and they were looking forward to bring back knowledge and expertise, and in order to share that then eventually with us when they return. You've had the same
All I can surmise,
Yeah.
just a quick, all I can surmise is, they say you were alluding to the art of being a work of art. I've always said in my teaching career that teaching is a work of art. And now that I'm busy with leadership development, I also have learned to say now that leading is a work of art. And those three people as they're journeying through to Spain, a song of Al Giro comes up in my head. He's got a beautiful song on Spain. I don't know if you've heard that one.
No, I haven't.
But okay, so maybe something to look up.
Yeah.
The late Al Giro and a rendition of Spain.
Wow.
Anyway, for me, although I may not have heard it, I can well imagine that they are passionate about what they do. And in teaching and in all walks of life, if you're not passionate and committed to what you're doing, or being egged on by wanting to make a difference in the lives of as other people, through agriculture, you're going to impact on so many lives. One just has to think of the Middle East and the starving people. And so if providing food and a plate of food through agriculture, and as well as all the other little products and exponential other work that can be created in the agricultural sphere, just speaks volumes about their commitment to fly to Spain and to go and improve themselves, learn new skills about human relations and about taking care of Mother Earth. So that is just so inspirational. And I'm very grateful for you and your team for doing this.
Well, thank you. That's my good friend Ridwan Samudin commenting there on the teacher's trip to Spain. They're in the air right now, left Cape Town about just after 3 p.m. local time. And so we wish them well, as Ridwan mentioned there as well. I will encourage you to find an opportunity to donate to the work that we do in South Africa. There's never too little to give, and there's never too much to give. If you have an opportunity to support what we're doing, please do not hesitate. And we'll play a very, very favorite song of Andre's called I'm Alive while I put the donate button on the screen for you. Thank you for letting us ask for your help.
There's a way that it's alright sometimes, but the end can be addressed a lie in disguise. Had my share of bad choices, broken dreams, disappointments. Through it all, the makings of a man. As I look back on my life story, and I see where your love has brought me. Hallelujah, I'm alive. Hallelujah, I'm alive. Don't know what tomorrow brings, shall not fret will shout, cause I'm alive. I will dance like David did before. And I will not take life for granted. Cause now I'm living the life I've always wanted. Hallelujah. I'm alive. I'm alive.
That's quite a line there from Andre's song, I'm Alive. Take nothing for granted. Were you able to make out that song there? I'm not sure you couldn't hear so well there, right?
I couldn't hear.
Yeah. So, yeah, because we don't have you through the system, unfortunately. But Ridwan, as I understood, you also on retirement, but you don't like the word, right?
It's a refinement now.
Refinement. Tell me more. Explain that. What do you mean by refinement?
Yeah, for me, when you're young, you're so impetuous and you see the world differently. But as you become a little older and wiser, things just look different to you. It's almost like
Yes.
you're this bird and looking at it from a bird's eye view. You see life differently, and those little small things that do impact on your life and you get you emotionally upcharged,
Yes.
no longer seem to matter. And so I feel that I'm in a stage where I see things differently from a different point of view
Yes.
and appreciate every little thing differently. Yeah. And it has so much more meaning to my life. So I'm in a sphere of leadership now. I've always been a leader, but I'm now responsible for assisting leaders in a sense. I don't want to say use the word development or fixing
I hear
people.
you.
Maybe just shine the light differently from the bird's eye view that I can see leadership. And I always like to believe that in today's crazy world where the world has been turned upside down, we need to claw our way back to love, to hope. And so leading should be a work of art. We're working with human beings and we need to connect heart by heart. A dear friend, I won't claim him to be a dear friend, but a man who impacted on my life when I met him a few times by the name of Colin Hall, who sadly passed on. He said something to the effect that relationships, they are all that we have. And that is why I always treasure our friendship, because it's been a deep-rooted relationship that is developed over many years. We've been on the phone more often than we've actually seen one another face to face. But the bond that's there, it is incredible because our hearts connect, and it connect for the right reason and the right purpose. And that's for creating a better world for our future generations. I think that's what, and agriculture, one of the spheres that you are in, I mean, you're a man with many, many hats, but one of those is so dear to my heart. I've worked at the nursery, starting to become a teacher, and through working at the nursery that I was able to pay my tuition
Wow.
and pay my traveling. So
I did not know
I
that.
I'm always, yeah. I've always been since grade 11, 3-4 years, and even 4 years of training as a teacher. I still continued working at the nursery. Started off as a trolley boy, just pushing trolleys, and eventually became a salesman selling plants and stuff to the clients. And it left an indelible mark on me.
That's incredible.
I always drive past the place, and I feel very great memories of the time I spent there.
That is fascinating. And I want you folks, if you've joined or you're continuing listening, appreciate that you're here, first and foremost. And of course, this video will stay online and you're more than welcome to return at some point. There was a time when Ridwan and myself spoke about how can we help young people in Harlem. One of the young people, when she was using this, she had a space that she rented from one of the folks in the community, simply spoken. So what she did is she started sowing and planting, and she had something like 250 or 300 rands worth. That's 200 crowns, at about $20, $25 worth of peas that she harvested, and she was very, very ecstatic about it. Her name is Tanya Phillips. Now, folks who have been on our show before will remember Tanya. We spoke about her some time ago, and I'll give you an update at another time, Rita, about how well she's doing. But I want listeners and viewers to know that was Ridwan Samudin had this way to help Tanya. He bought Tanya's first crop from her. And what Tanya then did is, so he bought the crop, but not for himself. And so what she then did is she took that set of peas and took it down to a local frail care facility for the aged. And so it was just a marvelous way, Ridwan, how, you stepped in, into this gap. It was just absolutely incredible. I remember we talked a little bit about this before, and I know you don't want us to make a big fuss about it, but it makes a big difference. And I'm saying this to folks particularly because we're not asking for money for nothing. People's lives are changed when you give. People's confidence improves when you give. They look up and they feel that this is worth it. It's worth living. I may not live in a big city. I may not have everything that folks have in the big city, but I have my dignity. I'm important. Stop looking at my community as what is wrong. Start looking at my community as what is strong. And I think that's what you did, Ridwan, with that gift. And so you remember that, don't you?
Yeah, and it just shows, to the public out there or the listeners out there, it's not how much you give. It's just about giving and helping that it will land and resonate well and create what we normally say an exponential difference. And in this case, that small, they say if you plant one seed, you get so many thousands of fruit, So this is an example of a tiny seed that could have reaped quite a lot of, a great harvest, sort of. Yeah.
I want to put a little bit of twist on that. It's a Tanya seed, not a tiny seed. How cool?
I love that. I just love that.
Yeah, it's a Tanya seed that you sowed, and it's made a big difference for her. I have a last bit of news, and then Ridwan and myself will say goodbye. We have places to go, people to see, mountains to climb, rivers to cross, castles to build. And thank you so much for those of you who joined in and listened to us. We're not done yet because we want to provide some little bit of update of good news here. And you can see on the screen, pardon me, I got something in my throat. You can see on the screen now, and Ridwan, what folks are looking at is a demarcation of 2.5 hectares of land together with a building. And there's a little inset picture that shows the signing of the 6-year lease. So Learning Academy Worldwide's Vocational Training in Agriculture project is now so well on the way that it has now got access for the next 6 years to do plenty on this space. And one of the things that we'll do is
unbelievable.
That's incredible. You're absolutely right. And it's it's such a tribute, Ridwan, again to what the community brings, right? It's not coming from outside. We're all pulling together. I'm reading a work by Cormac Russell called The Connected Community. And he's so strong on emphasizing this approach of seeing what is good in the community, where are the strengths. Let's come alongside, let's find the strengths. And that particular line is resonating with us. Let's find what's strong, not what's wrong, right? And so that the communities come along, it's now opening up a lot of opportunities. And if you're listening in and you're really keen to invest and support, I mean, we have opportunities not only on this piece of land for what is called conventional farming, but we can do part of it indoor farming. We could even do part of it we can use for a little solar energy farm. And experiment with many different ways to do two things. Number one, show the diversity and the variety of career possibilities within agriculture, number one. And number two, show the viability, the profitability of these ventures. And so I know I'm actually speaking to someone right now about the possibility of of using a renewable energy solution right on this space. Now we have this space. We couldn't say anything before. Now we have this space, and we are absolutely pumped up
Beautiful.
about this. I mean, you're right. It is.
Yeah.
It is beautiful.
I can hear that adrenaline rush and that
Oh.
pumping of energy. That is so beautiful.
Yeah, no, it is. I'm quite
Yeah.
excited. You're absolutely right. I am excited about that. And for those of you tuning in and hearing this little bit of news, we have just a couple of minutes before we have to sign off and say goodbye. My friend Ridwan Samodin, thank you so very, very much for joining me this evening and for sharing these precious moments with me. Unforgettable. It is recorded for generations to come, for our review, and to continue inspiring those around us. Ridwan from Cape Town, Grassy Park to be exact, if I'm correct, just outside of the city. I'm in Stockholm. We're about 10,500 kilometers apart. Thank you for sharing these precious moments with us. I'm saying goodbye. I don't know if you want to say something to our listeners to conclude with, Ridwan.
Yeah, no, Theo, one of the things I love doing is giving people an adjective, and you've always been terrific, Theo, and it's so amazing that you keep on being terrific and living that adjective we've given you. So keep on being terrific, Mr. Terrific. We love you. We appreciate you for what you're doing for our young folk, and may you be blessed, and your family and all your donors out there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for joining myself and Ridwan this evening on this very, very special night. As I mentioned before, if you have an opportunity to give, please do not hesitate. It will go far. It will make a difference in the lives of young people whom we serve in South Africa's high-stakes rural communities. I used to call them, following the genres or the approach from other when they talk of under-resourced communities. Our community is not under-resourced. They are vibrant. They have a great deal to give. They are strong. They have difficulties that if we don't help, at some point the risks are high. So they are high-risk communities, but they are definitely communities with strength. And for them, your investment, your support, your help will make a difference. From myself, Theophilus van Rensburg-Linster here in Stockholm, my good friend Ridwan down in Cape Town. Good night and have a lovely, lovely rest of your weekend.
Good night, everybody.
Yet you haven't lost all your strength.